Howdy, Redesert Boy here. Yes, it is getting close to summer, and it's time to be outside. So that's what I did today. I was outside with family, my wife and my brother-in-law. We went out and about. As you can see, I'm not attired quite like normal, maybe enjoying a little bit of what might have been possible in some of my heritage, my Scandinavian, maybe Viking heritage, not to mention some of my Celtic heritage, but another Northern European. But anyway, just thought I would check in today and just say, this is really a good time to be out, enjoying family, doing stuff. And that's what we did today. We went to our the Montana Renaissance Festival here, and it was a great day out there, and it just made me think about, well, I actually got talked into doing a little bit of braids here, so you can put in your comments whatever you think about it. I think it's kind of fun. But my wife got her hair braided too, being the English and Danish maiden that she is. So anyway, I thought I'd share with you a few things that I have that aren't firearms. And one of them is right here. And in fact, I didn't see one of the vendors there that I normally see at these places. I've seen them, I've seen them from the time I'd go up to the Sierras, to go up to the Celtic Festival in Sonora, and which is where I got this, which I'll talk about here in a minute. And, he wasn't there. There's a place, Age of Chivalry. I like there's some of the things that they had, but there's a lot of different vendors and things, you see people that you deal with over the years. And, I'm not advocating that. I'm just letting you know that's somebody that I've got to know almost as a friendship, because I'd see the owner, at various times, whether it was like Pirate Fest in Las Vegas or at the festival up here or other areas. So it was always great to see them get caught up on what's going on with their family and all that. But anyway, I used to go with my daughter originally. We'd go to the Celtic Fair in Sonora, and then later on we went to the Pirate Fest there in Vegas, and then this Renaissance Festival, and they have some other festivals here through the year. They have kind of a Hallows Eve one and different stuff. So I think they even have there's actually a place here that's kind of like a pirate restaurant, So anyway, I want to share this with you. This is my first sword that I got. This is called I was told it was called a Viking hand and a half, and you can wear it like over the top of where you would draw the sword from over or from your belt. And it's called a hand and a half for kind of obvious reasons, right? It's not quite a two-handed sword. It doesn't have bad balance, but it is kind of heavy. It is double-edged, one edge, both edges being pretty sharp, it's a pretty long blade there. And this was, I think when I bought it, there were this one isn't, I don't think, but I think there was it's a time when there was some armorers, like I think a gentleman named, I want to say Tinker, maybe Michael Tinker. Those of you that know more can correct me out there. But that was actually, I bought that sword, but I think the first thing I actually bought was this dirk here, right? And this is just something that I think is, you notice the edge, how it's made. It's almost like serrated, this edge not being, it's like I need to take a little clove oil to that. This blade's not, it's getting some oxidation on it. But this edge here is a little less sharp, but this one definitely so. And I was told this was a type of dirk, is what I was told, and that's what I've always thought of it as. Very robust, very handy, in addition to, I used to have another piece that went with it. It's around somewhere. It's a leather holder for it. I probably should have bought another one while it was there. But those two things were a couple of the first things I bought that I enjoyed. And I've always felt, just like, I don't know how it is, people have different ideas. You could be, I believe you can have, Christian faith concepts and things and still maybe have some ideas, about uh, holistic healing and things like that. Everybody's got their own thoughts on that. So you see a lot of things, you see different stones and you read up on that. People have different thoughts about how those work. So I ran out of a little space here because I'm having to use my really old iPad because my other one kind of died, and my phone's doesn't always give the same field of vision. I was fascinated. I never did get a halberd. I always wanted a halberd. If you don't know what that is, you should look it up. If you've ever seen the Swiss Guard for the Pope, they have halberds, and they're very effective. Even today, they could be with crowd control and things. This is a warhammer. This would have came later on. These were designed to penetrate plate armor, and I always just thought this was kind of a handy item to have around. And then one of the other things I have is this here sword. This was made from a company, my understanding is it was made by Oso Forge, which is out of used to be down near Bakersfield, and that's my understanding. Really nicely made, like Damascus type steel, I think. In fact, if you look on this side here, I think you will see the words Oso Forge up there. It's kind of hard to see it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it says up there. So this is a really nice blade. I really like this blade. As you can see, it's beautiful. It's not very short, but it's very long, but it's very strong. And just the other part that's really nice looking on this is this hilt that's made out of I don't think that's lapis. It might be lapis that's inlaid there. This was more expensive than any gun I've ever purchased. I'll be honest with you. I do have one more sword, so I might show that to you in just a minute. Let me see if I got it over there. So this sword here would have come from a later time, and this is a basket hilt type sword, right? So this would have been more like in the 1600s, or it could be later, maybe 1700s. One side of it's actually very squared off. The other side is the blade. I was told this was like an infantry sword for probably an officer or something like that. Very nicely made. This would have been very unpopular. It makes me think of swords I would expect somebody like the historic personality Cromwell to have wielded, who really devastated Ireland in his time, not to mention that other English monarchs or leaders didn't do the same, but that sword makes me think of that. I've always wanted, I can't think of the name of it, there's a type of sword that I almost bought one once at Polish, because some of my family goes back to White Russian and Polish and sort of Slavic. And the Poles, of course, with the hussars, there's a hussar swords that are pretty cool. But anyway, I thought I'd share some of that with you. But the main thing was seeing the people, watching the people, enjoying the jousting and the combat that they have for entertainment, the falconry, the singing, people dancing, and of course, braiding, right? All the people's different talents and wares and things that they were selling. It was a fabulous day. So I encourage you, enjoy yourself, get out there and enjoy the summertime that's coming up in this time of year. And as Reed Desert Boy always says, be safe out there, whatever you're doing. And we'll make some more videos, coming up here soon. And, just try to be out there and enjoy yourself. So, bye now.